this is not for you, please click away. I have several other videos. Today's case is going to be about the Alderson family murders, and it takes place in Wisconsin. I have my computer up here for notes as usual, and if you like true crime or my ASMR, feel free to leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to talk about the Alderson family and some background information. Bart and Krista Alderson were born in Wisconsin, and they got married in 1994. They welcomed two sons, the older one who was named Mitchell, and Chandler was their youngest. Bart, the father, was an accountant, and Krista, the mother, was an administrative assistant. The couple was described as a happy couple that worked very well together. Krista was home more and was described as a helicopter mother, meaning she kind of was involved in everything that her boys did, but she was very kind and nurturing. Bart was the more strict parent, but he loved spending time with his family as he was not home much due to work. The family was seemingly well balanced, and when the boys got a little bit older, the family moved into a beautiful home with a pond in the backyard, and this was located in Windsor, Wisconsin. Mitchell eventually moved out with his fiancée when he graduated from college, and Chandler moved out in 2019 with a friend, but this did not last, and he soon moved back into his parents' home. In his early 20s, he enrolled in Madison's Technical College into an IT program. During his last semester, he worked with American Family Insurance in an IT position and volunteered for the police diving team. When he was 23, he was offered a job for SpaceX. His starting salary right out of college was set to be $80,000 a year, which is very good in the States for having just graduated college. He would have to move to Florida for this job, and his girlfriend was going to go with him. They had been dating for about 2 years at this point. He went ahead and rented a car and an apartment for the upcoming move. However, issues started to arise and delayed the move, and one of these issues was he slipped and fell down the stairs and hit his head. He went to the ER, and the doctor ordered him to rest, but after a couple days, he was still complaining of confusion, weakness, and tingling in his limbs. The doctor told him that he could not move to Florida. So he was worried about his delayed start time with SpaceX. Chandler also started having problems with his bank. He was not getting his last last paychecks from his previous job, so his father, Bart, tried looking into it for him when Chandler suddenly said that he had got it fixed. Then there was another issue. Chandler said that he messed up his direct deposit, so he was back to square one with not getting his checks. After more and more issues with his bank, including his check finally going through but being flagged as fraudulent, Bart, who was an accountant, was confident that he could fix it, so he started to get suspicious when things didn't really seem to add up. But he let it go because his son Chandler had been showing him emails between himself and the company that he was working out these issues with. Another issue was with Chandler's college. In August of 2020, college would not give him his financial aid papers, and this was during COVID, so he could not speak with anybody in person, making this a very difficult thing to sort out. Bart was very frustrated, so he emailed the college. Chandler needed his transcript to start at SpaceX, so Bart tried to stay in touch with the college in the spring once again to get it sorted out. The advisor that he spoke to said that Chandler was on track to graduate and he just needed one more class to graduate with his associate's degree. Bart talked to Krista, his wife, about this call, and he said it was very strange because he mentioned that the advisor's voice sounded a lot like Chandler, but the advisor said that his name was Daniel. When Chandler finished his last class, he said that he was still having trouble getting his transcript. So instead of calling the number that his son gave him, because Bart had only been in contact with the college through the numbers that Chandler had provided for him. So Bart took matters into his own hands and he called the college. So he looked it up online and he found the staffing sheet online and he called the college office directly. He pretended to be Chandler since colleges usually don't give parents information since college students are typically no longer minors. So, as I said, Bart pretended to be Chandler and he began talking with this advisor. And Bart started to get suspicious because the advisor was not saying things that lined up with what his son had told him. So Bart asked the advisor to look up Daniel, the advisor that he had been calling and emailing, only to find out that Daniel, the advisor, did not exist. Chandler had been lying about school, even creating fake emails and numbers. Bart then texted Chandler, and they had a talk when he got home, but we don't know how that talk went. However, we can assume not well, based on the events that come next. So, Bart scheduled a meeting with the college that was going scheduled for July 1st at 3 p.m. However, nobody showed up to this meeting. Friday, July 2nd, Krista did not show up for work, and she didn't answer the calls of her coworkers either. Since this was very unlike her, friends stopped by her house. They knocked, but there was no answer, and in the window, they saw an overturned coffee table, and they noticed that both parents' cars were in the garage. So they kind of looked around outside, and before leaving, they knocked again. This time, Chandler opened the door, and he was in a bath towel, claiming that he had just showered. Chandler told the group that Krista and Bart had gone to their cabin, which was 3 hours away, and apparently they had told him that there was a plumbing issue, so they went with some family friends, and he said that's why their cars were there, because they had they had gone a ride with some friends. Chandler called their friend Daniel. This is not related to the advisor. They actually had a family friend named Daniel. So Chandler calls Daniel on July 4th, and he said that he was bored and didn't have 4th of July plans. So Chandler and his girlfriend Catherine went over to Daniel's house for fireworks. Chandler said that his parents called and told him that they would be home by the next day, Monday. On Tuesday, when they still had not arrived, Daniel asked Chandler to reach out when they got home because Krista had an important doctor's appointment on Wednesday, the next day, for her skin cancer. Also, her boss was starting to get upset, so she was at risk of losing her job. Chandler's brother started to become worried because he never went without talking to his mom. Remember, in the beginning we said that she was very involved with her kids, and Mitchell, the brother, said that it was not like her at all to not be in contact with him. On Wednesday, July 7th, there was still no word from them, and Chandler went to the police and filed a missing persons report. He claimed that he had helped his parents pack for the cabin on July 1st, and then they left with the couple, but he claimed he did not know the names of the couple that they left with. So, Krista texted him on July 4th, so that's Sunday, and she said that they were going to White Lake for the 4th of July parade. She claimed that they would be home by Tuesday morning at the latest. So the police went to the cabin, and there were no cars and there were no people. So police went back to the Halderson house, and Chandler had the same story. So his brother Mitchell decided to go meet deputies who were still at the cabin, and Mitchell's fiance came with him. So they meet the deputies at the cabin, and they said that nothing looked out of the ordinary, but it didn't look like anybody had been in the cabin at all recently. Police thought the text that Krista sent was weird because she claimed on July 4th that they were going to the parade. However, the parade that they supposedly were going to actually happened on July 3rd. 30 minutes away in a place called Roxbury, Wisconsin, in the woods alongside the river. She gave all of this data to the police. The police then spoke to Catherine's mother, who told them that Chandler had been over for a party. Chandler claimed that at this party he was going to go outside into their pool, and so they let him do that, but later, when they went out to the pool to join him, he was gone, and the pool cover was still on, and the area around the pool was dry, meaning that we can assume Chandler never got in the pool, like he said. So, the family didn't really think much of it. They just thought it was a little weird, and they got in the pool. An hour and a half later, Chandler walks out of the woods and casually gets in the pool with them. And Catherine's mother notes that instead of relaxing with them in the pool, it seemed like he was attempting to wash his body off. And right after this, he hopped out. Later, the mother saw vultures circling the property, which she said was pretty unusual. They had a fairly big property with a lot of woods, so she gave permission to the police to investigate. So the police launched a search on the property. A male human torso was found. After this torso was found, Chandler was asked to come in for an interview. And during this interview, he had the same story that he'd been giving them. The police asked Chandler if they would find any traces of his parents' blood in their family home. To which Chandler replied, quote, "My father has psoriasis, and when he scratches at it too much, it bleeds," end quote. And if you don't know what psoriasis is, it's kind of like eczema. It's dry, red, itchy patches of skin. So, that's what he claimed. And then he said, quote, "My mother has chronic nosebleeds," end quote. After further questioning, the police indicated that they knew more than they were telling him, and Chandler asked for a lawyer. He was done speaking. He was later arrested soon after this, and this was on July 8th. A further search of Catherine's family property turned up a bag full of bloody items, and on July 11th, a search of the Halderson family home was conducted, where police found more than 200 bone fragments in the fireplace, including skull and teeth fragments. And this was because after speaking to a neighbor, the neighbor said that she had seen smoke coming from the fireplace in the middle of the day, which was unusual. In the garage, they found a bloody axe, and in the home, they found both Bart and Krista's cell phones and IDs, which were being concealed in a shoe and had been wrapped in foil. Cell phone records show that Krista did send a text on the woman tipped the police, saying that she had seen a man matching Chandler's description walking from the river with a backpack. And this went along with the location data that Catherine, the girlfriend, had turned into police through Snapchat. They decided to keep looking along the river on Catherine's property, and this search turned up 3 more body parts: a thigh, a calf, and a foot, which were determined to belong to Krista. Bart's cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound to his back, and this gun was found in a shed outside the Halderson home. So in January of 2022, Chandler's trial started. And they pieced together the story of what happened. When Chandler realized that he had been caught in his lies, he decided to murder his parents. He found out that his dad had set up this meeting with the college on July 1st, remember? And after realizing this, his dad had sent him a text on July 1st saying, quote, "Are you about ready to go?" And when Chandler came downstairs to leave, he shot his dad in the back right before they were supposed to walk out the door for this college meeting. After his dad was deceased, Chandler texted his mom asking her to bring home a soda, likely so he would have more time to do something with his father's body. His mom replied, quote, "Yes," with a smiley face. When Krista got home, Chandler shot and killed his mother too. He then dismembered their remains and attempted to burn them in the fireplace. When he realized he could not burn all of the parts, he scattered the rest of these remains on his girlfriend's property. On his computer, they found disturbing Google searches, including, quote, "woman's body found," end quote, quote, "Wisconsin dismembered body found," end quote. And these searches were conducted before anything was ever found, meaning only the killer knew that they had been dismembered. So, Chandler was found guilty after only 2 hours of jury deliberation. He expressed no remorse for his crimes and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He later tried to appeal his case, and no lawyer would listen to him. Thank goodness. And that is the case. What are your thoughts? This case is so sick and sad. I just can't imagine getting caught up in these lies. So instead of getting your life together, you murder your parents. college. He was never in an IT program. He owed over $2,000 in debt to the college. He did not have a job with the insurance company. He did not have a job with the police. And his SpaceX job never existed. Turns out that he spent all of his time in his room playing video games. So this case is just could have easily been prevented. It's just so sad. His parents wanted the best for him. They wanted to see him own up to his mistakes. But that did not happen. So another interesting thing to note, this was from Chandler's girlfriend, Catherine. She claims that the only reason she had his location on Snapchat was because earlier in their relationship, he had been bragging to his friends that he'd been cheating on her. And when she found out and was ready to leave, he agreed to keep his location on to earn her trust back. So, thank goodness she had